Okay, I think it's pretty much good. Alright, guys, so today we're going to go over the Akashic Records Sacred Quantum Physics. That is a mouthful. And the way we're going to go about that is basically using kind of a math-like approach. So we're going to use PEMDAS, but instead we're going to use a quantum version of it. So PEMDAS will stand for paradoxes, equations, masters, dimensions, alignments, and saviors. PEMDAS. So this is the sacred geometry, sacred mathematics to use and utilize your own personal inner Akashic Records that's attached to the main Akashic Records. Okay. So, kind of a keynote to go off of, a different way to look at this, like a synonym for this, would be paradoxes are pretty much when humanity's influence is in the Akashic Records. So, equations, we got, equations are God equal, like is source energy and God, masters equals matrix and mastery. D for PEMDAS is dimensions, which is, direct vantage point. And then A is alignment for light language. And then when saviors are involved in the Akashic Records quantum physics, it is the Seal of Solomon or the Seal of Soul Omen. So we are going to start backwards on PEMDAS. So we're going to go from the saviors. So from S, the Seal of Solomon, which is, the major key that's used for the Akashic Records to be entered by us energetically. So we got the Seal of Solomon, or break that down into the Seal of Soul Omen. So when we utilize the inner Merkaba within, we're able to tap into that. But I feel like as the progression on PEMDAS goes, it's kind of like a strongest polarity to source energy to least, or at least the easier to harder kind of difficulty level. So like this is harder, this is easier. So P, humanity's influence is pretty much accessing the Akashic Records to do like mundane things in the world, or routine things, chores. That's what the P would be, is more humanity. So humanity, building buildings, making houses, making beds, that's a little bit more like survival mode basis, instinctual basis. And then, then you got the higher side of the whole spectrum, which is the Seal of Solomon side, which is where you're so in tune with your Akashic Records. You can kind of think of the Seal of Solomon that we all have is pretty much like, imagine this is a card key, right? So we'll put like a little bar thing with our name scribbled here, right? And then here is our key card to the library that is the Akashic Records. This is the key card. It is the key to get in. Now, the key to unleashing your Akashic Records' full potential is understanding your birth chart and manual to the full degree. And our birth chart is a very basic standard Akashic Record that's like one of the Akashic Records of us as people. So if all of us were stored in books, it would be stored in our Akashic Records, and our book would be like our birth chart, but book form. So basically, try to imagine it like, here, let me see if I could draw it out. So drawing it out within the Akashic Records within us, you know, got all these different, let's see, there's like a little library with the tables, just drawing the Akashic Records that is in my mind's eye as an example to give you guys some ideas of what it looks like for mine. But yeah, you got all these shelves and shelves of books and books, but the books that hold our information, humanity's information, is in our birth charts. It's the literal thing that Yama in ancient astrology from India, that's 4,000 years old. Yama is the person that we go to after we pass away or turn into an angel. Afterlife. And he reviews all of our everything that we went through in our life. So he basically puts a huge screen in front of us, and he asks us with his little clipboard if there's anything that is projected on these other lives that we may want to relive, to, like, if we didn't have enough time for family, we overworked, we didn't have enough love in our life, we were too uptight, we didn't play enough, or, you know, just whatever. But either way, Yama's there to review that. So our Akashic Records is kind of like getting to visit Yama anytime that we want, and to do this kind of life review. So to do this kind of healing life review that Yama, as is called in ancient Indian culture of India, we're gonna keep going into the Yama's PEMDAS, or the mathematics that he uses to help us review after we pass away. But some of us, we're able to go through a dark night of the soul that unteaches us from society's teachings and starts establishing a foundation of true authentic self, and the 3, 4, and 5D all at once simultaneously. And when that starts to happen and the Merkaba within us starts to spin, or the key card starts to spin, it's like the key card, like some cards you have to swipe this way, that way. Well, with the Akashic Record key card, it needs to be constantly spinning. It needs to be constantly in that spinning motion, just spinning, 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 you know. And you can also say that the key of the Akashic Records lies within 2 signs in our chart, mainly 2 glyphs that I will teach you right now. The first alchemic glyph of alchemy that we used. So glyphs are the things and keys that we use to get into the Akashic Records. The Seal of Solomon's are through glyphs. So the first glyph is this glyph, and this is the Chiron glyph, right? The seal of the Chiron glyph. And then the other sign that is the most significant catalyst of causing the key is our fortune. So Chiron is the wounded healer in our chart. So whatever sign your Chiron is the area in life that you basically are healing the wound that you live, like using your wound as your strength to teach others and heal others with what pain that you've went through in your life. And then fortune represents the triangulation between the sun, moon, and rising signs into one specific sign, which is why it's shaped like that. And it pinpoints your chart. So mine is Aries, for example. So that means that the success and joy in my life is manifested through my face, through my personality, because Aries represents the face and personality, and planting seeds within others. So when people see my face, they have a seed of a new idea, or like they have a new imagining in their daydreams. Or if they receive my energy negatively, then they'll see it in their nightmares, or their, daydream nightmares during the day, whatever. But basically, you have to sustain at all times these two things in your chart in order for your Akashic Records to basically be nourished and healthy. Because the Akashic Records is also tied to the world tree. So the world tree which has so many different branches of all these different things that the world is dreaming. So imagine this is like if the Akashic Records is a living library, then and that's how information sustains itself. Then dreams sustain themselves in a giant world tree, right? And some refer to this as Yggdrasil, but so Yggdrasil. So we need to nourish the dreams or wishes that we desire or put within our Akashic Records, because it's kind of like this. It's kind of like every time you come across something you want to learn new, it's like your Akashic Records is always involved, whether you're aware of it or not. It's unconsciously happening within your inner world. So you see a new like sport or something you want to do, so you put it in your Akashic Records or your vortex, or insert whatever you like to call the thing you put all your fulfillment feelings in, and then there's going to be a book of that stored in your Akashic Records, but it has a special kind of lock or seal on it. And even though we desire certain things and we want to manifest them, there's certain parts of the library that universe doesn't give us signs to go towards, and sometimes we're put in circumstances where we have to basically feel like we have to conform to family or society's most best outcome of what would be best for society, even though we know that we're connected to something greater, like the Akashic Records, which is pretty much being able to make unreality reality and make things that aren't real real, nothing into something or everything. Okay, so going into the next major thing, I'm going to use the next two glyphs as the next example. So you have the Seal of Solomon, or the Star of David, the As Above, So Below star, and then you have I want to say, tetrahedron, tetrahedron. Tetrahedron star and Merkaba star for understanding's sake. So you can think of accessing Chiron is like accessing your Merkaba, where when you feel like a revelation of your healing, and not only healing, but you're using your wounded piece of your soul that is the scar in your soul and your heart to heal others that have that same kind of wound, or are experiencing a timeline where they have to experience that kind of wound. And then with the tetrahedron star, you're able to tap into fortune of the Akashic Records. So you're able to use wind, water, fire, earth, spirit, and ether when you're using the healing key. But when you're using the learning key, you use the tetrahedron and the fortune, which is basically embracing the success and joy that you are able to stabilize and maintain in yourself and others. And when that quantumly spins in a vortex, just like how this is like just spiraling into a vortex of energy. It allows you to time leap. So this key, the Star of David key, is basically a key that's able to allow you the chance to astral project, lucid dream within present timeline reality, and to have a direct impact on things and people within your magnetic field in general, and your 10th house. And then this is more of the unrealities and all of the imaginings within. So this is kind of the as above, so below. So this is the like I want to say above, because it's like this is the possible time leaping, and this is the below, which is staying in the current lifetime. But when we allow ourselves to use quantum physics to leap ourselves, we can take something that took someone a whole decade to manifest for themselves, like opening up like a brand new beautiful store, and it took them just decade to build. But a chosen one like yourself can manifest something that took 10 years in 5 years, because you are quantum leaping at all times. And both of these are quantum leaping either way, but this is time quantum leaping, and this is I want to say present quantum leaping. So timeline quantum leaping, present quantum leaping. So this allows you to affect things in real time. This allows you to make yourself aware of understandings. Like when you quantum leap like this, it's kind of like it gives you an inexplicable amount of energy, and you're able to pinpoint and connect all these different dots, because there's 6 elements in the initial key of the Seal of Solomon that initially gets you in the Akashic Records. But the part of the Akashic Records that allows you to repair things in your own inner world that need to be healed, or like I talked about in one of my TikToks, the Rubik's Cube concept of the Merkaba, which is where we ourselves, just like the world we live in, we reflect the world that's around us. And just like we have to play the game of money in the world that we all live in together, the inner world also has those kind of conditions in order to get what you want from it. And so we have this Merkaba, or Rubik's Cube, and just like our world, we have to play the game of money. We have 6 different main conscious fields within us, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 fields, 6 points that we are supposed to manifest a 7th synergy of God energy. So the moment we spin and properly, at least even when, like, it takes a individual, like, a whole lifetime to even get one side of the face sometimes. And you could take that as, like, someone that, finally got into that movie and became an actor, and then it became a core part of one of the sides of their Rubik's Cube. So it was fully colored on this side, but every single other 5 of the sides were all misarranged, because the thing is that this was taken care of and this was completed. But some of us go our whole lives completing one little thing, like people go to college or do a certain thing and they'll complete that, and then they'll realize long term that doing the same thing over and over doesn't bring fulfillment, because our souls are a complex ecosystem, just like our body's a complex ecosystem, and everything we're doing to it, and the way that we learning is when you're able to critically think for yourself and use the scientific method of your 5 senses, or 6 senses in this case, because of the kind of new world we live in where higher thinking is happening. But yeah, so let me just find the card. Okay, so Akashic Records. So the sacred geometry of this is basically a bunch of triangles within each other, right? And they're spinning like a constant spiral. And when you're having that constant spiral spin, it creates a momentum that allows you to create with passion. So once your Merkaba spinning, that means that you're in the spinning means or is equal to passion, and maintaining the Merkaba field is equivalent to desire being met. So all you have to do to get into your Akashic Records is to create in a field that you are able to create, and that you are able to create a field of like you're basically able to create like a sonic chamber of sound, where it's just like the only kind of frequency that can get into that space is you. You're the only sound wave that can break through the barrier of your Akashic Records. So, you just need to... And also, Akashic Records is connected to the throat chakra, and some cultures do refer to the throat chakra because of the whole sound concept as Akasha. So, Akasha is spelled like this. Akasha. And this is also what the throat chakra is referred to as, kind of thing. Water energy, outspoken energy. And so now I'm just going to pull some cards that will give me some clarity on some good ways to let you guys in on how to get into the Akashic Records. And I got the best cards for it. My Gateway of Light Activation Oracle deck, artwork by Jennifer Hawkyard. Very, very good. And Kyle Gray is the illustrator. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, let's just take the cards right off the bat. Okay, so right here we got Central Sun, Akashic Akashic Stargate, Temple of Truth, and I Am Presence. So think of these cards as like the pillars on how to get to it, or even like this. So let's see. Akashic Stargate, aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. Central Sun, abundance, downloads, regeneration, success. And we were talking about how the fortune gets you into the Akashic Records. And also that's the yellow, like desire, solar plexus chakra. Temple of Truth, throat chakra, authenticity, self-expression. See what I mean? That is so crazy. See? Throat chakra. All about the throat chakra. The Akashic Records is a blue energy place. It is connected to water, and all of the different realms and dimensions are connected through the timelines, through water initially, because the space is the waters above the waters, and the waters of creation that women, when giving birth, there's just so much with waters. And then the last card, I Am Presence, light body activation, ascending with divine, or light body activation, assessing the divine within. So see, that's what this is. So when you spin, when your Merkaba is spinning, that is you embracing the Aries energy of the motto I am presence, light body activation, assessing divine within. When you assess the divine within yourself, when you make that really good, like like crisp, clean wrap, or when you make a beautiful painting, when you grow a new plant in your garden, or when you find a new dance move to do. Like all of these things is assessing the divine within. And once you assess the divine within yourself, you are literally completing one of the faces of that Rubik's Cube. That is the Akashic Records. If I could find the cube example. But you guys seen it, so you get my gist. But either way, see? So once you complete one of the faces of that cube by assessing the divine within, healing your Chiron, and embracing the success that you are able to give to the world and sustain in the world and maintain in the world, it'll allow you to have your vessel be the temple of truth, which is what this picture is. This picture is basically trying to show you, the artist is trying to show you inside, like, your Akashic Records. Like, this is the beauty. Like, it's a living place. It's alive. It's like a forest. Your Akashic Records is a living library, but it's a living library in the sense of it is a living world. It is your inner world, you know? And it is only a certain kind of way and fundamentals based off of the laws and physics of the universe, and the quantum physics of the universe, which is astrology, numerology, sacred geometry, and so on. But throat chakra, authenticity, self-expression, assessing the divine within, these are the same things and concepts. That is exactly the same thing. And then the central sun, abundance, downloads, regeneration, success. Once again, when you are receiving downloads, you are completing one of these phases, or winning one of the little chessboard sides of the games of your dream realm. And you could think of each of the 6 sides of the different fields of XYZ of existence, right? Like the whole XYZ chart, right? So you could think of like one as like the physical you, the mind you that you think about, the spiritual you that you pray about, the metaphysical that you wish about, and the absent, which you have basically no neutral energy, where it's everything and nothing all at once kind of energy. But I'm gonna definitely read the first card for sure, and we're gonna get into the Akashic Stargate. Aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. See, the Akashic Records is supposed to be a fun experience. You know, if your whole life is tennis, then your Akashic Records is probably going to be activated when you do some divine work and business models with tennis and, like, become a part of that industry. It's like the moment that somebody, like, becomes a part of an industry in their heart of hearts and their everything that they're working towards, it pretty much makes it so they're attempting to sustain their Akashic Records. And Akashic Records is a ever-changing ecosystem inside of our soul, so it will need to be updated every so often, just like, because we are biological technology, because, we have a spiritual search engine inside of us, and God and Source needs to update with all the new healing and the new blessings that are given, so that they can apply it to the chosen ones and hope that they are able to give a ripple effect of healing out into the universe. So let me go into the Akashic Stargates. So just give me 1 second to find that in the book. $37. So that is Aries and Capricorn energy. That makes sense. 10th house vibes. The Akashic Records is pretty much our vibes. Like, whatever your Akashic Records is like, or the way I guess you can communicate and connect and manifest with yours is, is your vibes. Okay, so found the page. I think I found the page. Hold on, guys. 37, yeah. so weird. Hmm. 37. Oh, there we go. They have multiple sections of 37. Okay. So Akashic Stargate, aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. A stargate is a portal that can take us through space and time to a whole nother universe. It's based on the concept of the Einstein-Rosen bridge, or also known as the wormhole, where a specular structure linking different points in space and time created in spirituality. The Stargate is less about traveling the physical three-dimensional level and more about making progress on the spiritual. And that is exactly what we're saying, like to do the self-work and healing so that you can feel, see, and sense, taste, and touch your Akashic Records. A feature of many spiritual traditions is an idea that all of us have a stargate in our heart that connects us with the central lattice of the consciousness, the divine matrix. The Buddha acknowledged that we are universe, while Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. The Akashic Stargate transports us to space where we are given the opportunity to make a decision to accelerate the realization of our life purpose. It says, connect. Visualize yourself at the crossroads. Tune into the direction that feels most joyful, light, and loving. Imagine yourself walking that road. See all that it brings you. So like I was saying, when you have a certain passion or thing, like allow that to be as many seasons long as it needs to be, but just be ready to embrace when you're ready to put that as a book of the shelves of your Akashic Records to sustain it. Because you need to sustain it with more than just one book. We live many lifetimes in the one lifetime that we get, because it's not really one lifetime. The media and everybody in the society wants to say we only have one life, you only live once. No, you're living multitude of realities and timelines and existences while you're here in once. You can be a sports guy and then a musician and then a doctor, and you could just do all these different things. Okay, and then this is the main message of the Akashic Stargate card. It says, whenever the Akashic Stargate is presented to you, it's because you're at a critical point on your journey. You have the opportunity to move in a particular direction that you have to make a decision. This can feel overwhelming. You may be waiting for someone or something to make the decision for you, but you aren't here to walk a path that was set for you. You're here to walk a path you have chosen. And that's the thing too, guys. Like, that's what I try to say when I teach anybody about sacred mathematics and Akashic mathematics, is that, you can know astrology and numerology and all of the terminology by heart and regurgitate it willingly. But the thing is that until you have a sound idea of how your Akashic Records creates symphony within its harmonic sphere, its musical harmonic sphere, because the music harmonies is a part of our Akashic Records sustainability, is the music in our soul's library, the background music of our soul. Like, do you have one? Have you worked on it? Because if you haven't, your body is a living instrument and you need to start doing that. We are meant to have all of the books on our shelves as Akashic Records, as humans of fulfillment. We are not supposed to just become a doctor and do that for the rest of our lives.